All right, hello class. I'm going to go ahead and give you directions for today's asynchronous work. So when you go to social studies, which I'm sure you're already there because you've found these directions, under this week's topic, there's 2 assignments that have been posted for today along with this video directions. So your main assignment for today is to make sure that in your interactive notebook, pages 5 through 8 are complete. You are then going to attach your notebook and turn it in to me for your grade. So the other thing that I've put in here is a to-do list. If you click on this assignment, you'll see that this checklist is to help you stay organized, but it is not a grade and it's optional to complete, but I do recommend that you use it to ensure that all of the tasks for social studies are done today. So when you click on this sheet, it will open up a new tab for you, and I went ahead and already did this just to save some time with loading. But when you open this up, you're going to get a checklist for today. So you can come back and forth between this tab as you complete stuff to help you stay organized. The first step is that you pull up the video directions and you review them. So check, I'm doing that right now. The next task is to open up your interactive notebook and check slide 5 for completion. So many of you have completed slide 5, but some of you were having tech problems and were behind on notes. So if you're missing notes from this page, you need to hit the update button to autofill your notes. And I talked to a couple of you about doing this today. So I need to find my notebook and I need to check slide 5. So reminder, if you go to your classroom, up at the top, there's this class drive folder. If you click on that class drive folder, it's going to bring up your social studies folder with all of your work. So when I go to, I've already loaded this page, but when I click on that link, it'll bring up my social studies folder, and here's my notebook. So I need to open up my notebook because I'm going to be using that today, checking my slides. So the first thing I need to do is check slide 5 because slides 5 through 8 are due for a grade today. So once your notebook loads, you can scroll down on the side here. Oops, here's page 5. So I'm going to click on page 5. And if you are missing any of these notes, you are going to hit the update button and it will autofill the notes that you're missing. If you were able to get all the notes, you don't have to do this, okay? Some of you personalized the notes, like maybe highlighted in different colors or changed the font. So you only have to update if you were missing notes, okay? If you hit this update button and you personalized these notes, it will change your notes back to looking like my notes, okay? So you only have to update if you were missing something. But now that you've updated, these should be all filled in with the correct answers. I won't always do this for you, but because it's the first week and I know there were some computer issues, I went ahead and auto-filled these for you. Okay, so back to my checklist. Slide 5 is updated. I'm going to check that off. The next thing I need to look at is slide 6. So for slide 6, I need to use the last 2 slides of the Making Inferences presentation to complete my notes. So also in your assignment, when you click here on the interactive notebook pages, complete slides 5 through 8. Here's the Making Inferences presentation that we reviewed in class. We were almost finished with it except for the very end, like summary slide. So when you click on this, you are going to be taken to the link of our presentation, okay? This is the whole presentation I viewed with you in class. Where we left off were the final two slides, so past Mr. W. We ended with Mr. W yesterday. So today, I'm just going to do a quick summary of inferences for you. So we were practicing inferences because it's a skill I'm going to ask you to use all year in history. So a reminder of what it means to infer. Making an inference means you use clues and evidence from the text to get the whole picture. To make an inference, a reader must think while reading a text. So reading is in quotes here because sometimes it's analyzing pictures, analyzing graphs, analyzing maps. Making inferences helps us to make connections and better understand our text. So if we're making connections to our learning, that's going to stick better in our minds. And if authors didn't leave some information out, most of our reading would be boring. So imagine having to explain every joke that you ever told. Okay, without inferences, things would be boring. I have some images here to help you remember what it means to infer. So this person here has on a thinking cap. So you're thinking critically when you infer. I like this diagram here. You're using text clues and your prior knowledge or schema to infer, and you're making connections within your reading. So connections to yourself, connections to other texts, connections to the world. That's what you do when you infer. So if you look back at your notebook, slide 6, don't forget you can zoom in to work on this. You can also click back and forth between your tabs, look at the presentation and look at your notebook, or you can resize your window here and you can pull your notebook out to a separate window for completion. So if I want to see my presentation, but I also want to see my notebook, I can resize this. So I want to see, whoops, I want to see this. Okay, so I'm going to resize this, and I didn't do such a good job here, but let's see, oh, plus. Okay, so then I have to scroll down to this. But you can mess around with the windows here. You can resize it so I can now see my presentation and I can work in the notebook. So my job here, and I'm going to try and take away this side panel by clicking this button here. See if it works for me. Sometimes it doesn't. Here we go. Okay, so my next task is to complete slide 6. So on slide 6, I need to answer what is an example of an inference. So think about any inferences we've done in class, any example you can think of when we infer, and I want you to answer that question. Give me an example here of one of the activities we did, what an inference is, occasions that we make inferences. Okay, so I want an example here. This box, I know you guys might be creative and figure out how to draw a picture. So either draw a picture or find a picture. I want you to paste an image here that will remind you of what you do when you infer. So if you want to search for pictures, remember you can insert an image. Let me remind you, you have to double click where you want to insert, and then you would go insert image. You can search the web for a picture. If you want to draw something and you can send it to your Chromebook, you can upload a picture. Looks like maybe you can draw a picture and then take a picture of it. I don't know. You guys can get creative here. But figure out how to insert a picture. That will help you remember to infer. You might be able to see if you can copy and one of these images or search for one of those images, but I want a picture that shows a reminder of what you do when you infer. And then finally, I want you to answer these two questions as a summary. So tell me what you learned about making inferences from this entire presentation. So you can review your notes on page 5, or you can look back at the presentation as a reminder and tell me what you have learned about making inferences. And then the second question is, I've told you this is going to be an important skill in our class. So I want you to make an inference using evidence that we've learned about this topic and what you know about the studying of history. And I want you to answer this question: how will making inferences be important to studying history? Why do you think it's an important part of studying history? So that's what you need to do to complete slide 7. So going back to my checklist, once I finished those notes, I'm going to check that off. Then I need to look at slides 7 and 8 and make sure I completed those yesterday. So nope, I haven't. I'm going to have to go back and complete those. Okay, most of you should have them done. If you were in class yesterday, yours should be done. Once they're done, check them off. If they're not done, you can go back and review the slides. We started here on slide 13 yesterday. So go back and review those and make sure those are complete. Once you have slide 5, 6, 7, and 8 complete, you're going to attach your notebook to today's assignment and turn in. So here's how you do that. So I'm done with my notebook. I'm going to close my notebook out, but I still have my Google Classroom open. So I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom. I'm going to click View Assignment. I'm going to add, and I want to add something from my Google Drive. So I'm going to click Google Drive. Here's my notebook. I'm going to insert my notebook, and I'm going to hit the Turn In button. Now my notebook is turned in. So it says one attachment. Yes, one attachment needs to be turned in. So I'm going to turn it in, go back to my checklist. I've turned my assignment in. I'm going to get marked present for today. I'm going to get my grade for today. Final step, once you've turned in your notebook, please review Student View and make sure that you have corrected any grades that need correcting. And that is it for your assignments today. Please remember you can find me on Google Classroom if you need assistance. Sorry, not Google Classroom. You can message me on Google Classroom, or you can find me on Google Meet if you need help. But the main goal for today and assignment I'm grading is your notebook pages 5 through 8. Okay, so make sure notebook pages 5 through 8 are complete, you've attached, and you've turned in. Have a good day.